You're watching CBS7 News at 9 on the CW and live on the CBS7 YouTube channel with Alexandra, Macia, and Tom Teeper-Teller.
A couple years ago, we used to drive around in a horse and buggy. And then our mode of transportation was the train. And then things change and innovation occurs. And this is the wave of the future.
An electric vehicle convoy stopped in Midland today, hoping to inform West Texans about the impact EVs will have on our future. We'll have more on that story and more coming up in just a few minutes. Good evening and thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra, Macia, and we start tonight with a CBS7 exclusive story. It was an emotional morning for Odessan Ricky Tyndall, who is known for his positive attitude despite hardship. Chemotherapy led to his hearing loss, but insurance issues and the financial burden of 26 surgeries prevented him from purchasing hearing aids. That changed today, though, thanks to the Beltone Hearing Center. Tyndall beat jaw cancer, but now faces colon cancer. That doesn't deter Tyndall. However, he says if he beat cancer once, he can do it again. That upbeat attitude amid tough times is what stuck out to Beltone staff. It motivated them to ask the Beltone Foundation to fund his care. Tyndall noticed today all the sounds he had been missing.
This is don't realize. Yeah, I may not be able to believe the cancer radiation took away my head. Now I have it back. It's wonderful.
Tyndall says he looks forward to hearing his wife and his pastor. Right now, he's facing another 6 months of chemotherapy, but he says that being able to hear gives him a sense of normalcy.
Hearing loss can be so isolating because you get tired of asking people to repeat, and so you just quit asking and you stay out of the conversation.
Tyndall faces another 6 months of chemotherapy. He's confident, though, that he will get through it. And turning now to your election coverage, where this past weekend, Sarah Stogner announced she will run again for a spot in the Texas Railroad Commission. This time, she's running as a member of the Forward Party. The Railroad Commission regulates oil and gas drilling permits, surface mining, natural gas utilities, and more. Stogner says her experience advising oil and gas clients and landowners about the industry will lead her to serve in the Railroad Commission. She says the Ken Paxton impeachment and a divide in the Republican Party led her to join the Forward Party.
What I will be able to do is help bring transparency and help give all stakeholders, all Texans, the opportunity to understand what's happening that's affecting their property and their minerals and their groundwater, right? And make sure that everyone's heard.
Before Stogner can be put on the ballot, she must get 81,000 signatures in 75 days, starting on March 13th. An update now for you on a sexual assault cold case that was recently solved. On September 13th, Odessa police arrested Javier Castillo Arias thanks to detectives who looked through old cases with modern tools. Castillo Arias was arrested after OPD got a DNA match thanks to a system called CODIS. CODIS is a computer software program that looks at DNA profiles from convicted offenders, unsolved crime scene evidence, and missing persons.
And in this case, this gentleman's DNA matched off of that unknown CODIS sample, and we were able to put closure to a sexual assault case that's been open since 2015.
On any given day, the Cold Case Division investigates cases that have been unsolved or cases that have been solved but have caused raise for questions.
She'll read case files on a daily basis. She follows up with surviving witnesses and victims from any time period that the case occurred. And then she also conducts reviews of evidence from back then to see if there's anything that may have evidentiary value, DNA, anything like that.
OPD says they will never give up on a cold case, whether it's from the 1950s or 2022. And it's time to take a look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teefer is here to tell us what we can expect. Tom?
Well, it was a stormy evening for parts of West Texas. We had one thunderstorm roll right between Midland and Odessa, dropped 11/100ths of an inch of rain out at the Midland National Air and Spaceport. Plenty of lightning associated with it too. 1/100th down towards the Presidio area and some trace amounts in Big Lake. As we take a look at the radar, everything is really quieted down now that the sun has set. Moving in right across the central Permian Basin, you can see what's left of those scattered showers and thunder showers that move between Midland and Odessa, now near 1788. 1787 intersection over towards 349. Another little thunder shower moving in around Lenora and moving off to the southeast. But everything again is really starting to wind down across the area. Had a severe storm there across portions of Terrell County. That is fizzled out as it's moved off to the east. Temperatures today, well, we had plenty of daytime heating, so that helping spark some of the thunderstorm activity into the mid-90s out there. And current temperatures, we're seeing those cooling off all the way down to 78 thanks to that thunderstorm in and around the Midland Odessa area out at the Midland National Air and Spaceport right now. And don't forget, you can scan this QR code right there and get the CBS7 First Alert weather app. It's a great way to stay informed whenever we have thunderstorms roaming around West Texas. It's free. Get it for your iPhone today, your Android phone, and have radar anytime you need it.
Thanks, Tom. An electric vehicle convoy showcasing a range of EVs, including a school bus, stopped in Midland today. The tour is aiming to inform West Texans, spreading the word about what they believe EVs have to offer.
We recognize that the Permian in West Texas is the heart of oil and gas country, but as conservatives, we're here to tell conservatives in West Texas that it's okay to be for electric vehicles.
An electric vehicle convoy stopped in Midland today.
Electric vehicles are going to be the way we get around in the future, and there are a number of reasons. They're simply better cars. They're faster, they're cheaper to own and operate, and they don't break down nearly as often.
West Texans Christian Camden and Ashley Kinsey, not a part of the convoy, switched to an electric vehicle 1 week ago, a Ford Mustang Mach-E GT.
I like it. I like just the whole aspect of it.
The downside would be it's still new technology, so there's not that many charging stations, especially in an area like the oil field, West Texas, stuff like that. So, I mean, you really got to plan out your trip a little bit more.
The goal of the convoy is to spread information, highlighting the need for more charging stations and funding opportunities.
It means jobs for Texans. It means a greater, stronger domestic supply chain for all the parts.
That includes electric school buses.
The diesel emissions concentrate inside the cabin of the school bus, up to 12 times as concentrated in the bus as right outside. So it's very bad for the kids who are riding on the bus.
The hope was not to force anyone to buy the cars, but to discuss the economic impact they believe the industry could have.
The way the grid works is it's already built out. And so the more utilization you get on it from things like electric vehicles, the lower the cost for everyone who utilizes the grid.
There are opportunities for communities to choose where they want electric charging. They also say the placement of those chargers can make a big difference in the economic life of cities in the future. And in your education news, Dr. Stephanie Howard stopped by the CBS7 studio to talk about the different components of November's bond. MISD's bond is all in one proposition. It includes things like new campuses for Midland and Legacy High School, updating safety and security district-wide, a new elementary school, and general maintenance, all while maintaining the current tax rate.
We just adopted our 2023 tax rate. That is a 3.78 cent reduction from last year. The way the bond is financed, or the proposed financing and the structure of the bond, we would be able to keep a flat tax rate going into the next year.
For our full interview with Dr. Howard, visit our website at CBS7.com, and the district has each proposition cost broken down on the MISD website. And in the community, an Odessa woman had a special birthday today. Ruby Mahan and her family celebrated a century of life. She has lived a full life that has included marrying the love of her life, helping to build aircraft in World War II, and living around the world in countries like Argentina and Singapore. She says that life has taught her to appreciate blessings.
I hope I've learned to be more grateful and more caring. And I hope that I've learned it's not the things that we possess that really make a difference. It's what's in our heart.
Ruby and her family also stressed that having faith in Jesus Christ is a central priority to them. And one of the things Ruby attributes to her long life is the fact that she always honored her father and mother. And Diamondback Energy has donated $40,000 of equipment to the Midland Fire Department. Midland Fire received 15 G7C monitors and a 3-year subscription for the gas monitoring system. The monitors help the fire department respond to gas leaks by reading the air quality levels as they get closer to the leak. The data is immediately uploaded to the monitoring database, which helps firefighters make decisions in the heat of the moment.
Some technology that they'll be able to monitor remotely while their crews respond to various calls regarding various gas leaks. Something that they didn't have room in their budget to purchase, but it improves the quality of the calls that they're answering.
The fire department can respond to gas leak incidents by reading the levels as they get closer to the leak. This donation doesn't just benefit the fire department, but the community as well.
15 monitors are going to provide safety not only for the officers, but also for the people in our community that they're working to try to help and protect. And so when they go into a scenario that is difficult and they realize that there are air quality issues, this is really going to ensure that safety.
Every operating engine, hazmat, and chief vehicle will be equipped with a gas monitor. And now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, Governor Abbott is in New York speaking about his decision to bus migrants from Texas up to the Empire State. That's next in your news across the nation on CBS7 News at 9. Nearly 120,000 migrants have arrived in New York City since spring of last year, many of them traveling on buses from the southern border states. Today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott visited New York, where he explained the rationale for busing as the city struggles to meet the demand of housing and caring for the new arrivals. Michael George has the latest.
Visiting New York in the midst of its migrant crisis, Texas Governor Greg Abbott stood by his decision to bus more than 15,000 asylum seekers into the city.
What you're dealing with in New York, what you are seeing and witnessing in the state, is a tiny fraction of what is happening every single day in the state of Texas.
Abbott's comments at a conservative event come as southern border crossings are at a near record high, with nearly 7,000 apprehensions daily. The mayor of Laredo, Texas, told CBS News the federal budget stalemate and threat of a government shutdown are adding to the crisis.
Border security is number one. And if we don't have any border security, that could give a wrong message to illegal organizations like cartels.
Republican governors busing migrants out of their overwhelmed border towns to cities like New York, Los Angeles, D.C., and Chicago has been criticized for turning people into political pawns. Here in New York, with designated shelters like the Roosevelt Hotel at capacity, Mayor Eric Adams is looking at things like schools and parks for housing, but he's facing pushback. A Staten Island neighborhood is fighting a shelter there, and Brooklyn leaders are pushing back against a plan for a migrant camp on federal parkland.
Rather than providing access to this national park space, the federal government is restricting the ability of the public to fully enjoy the 1,300 acres of parkland on the shores of Jamaica Bay.
State and local leaders say what they need most is more federal funding. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, we are looking at things calming down thunderstorm-wise as it got close to Midland, Odessa. We had one storm pass in between. Could any more be in the forecast? We'll talk about that, and a unique view of today's storms is coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look at this unique view of today's storms, I should say. Bert Carmel's sending us this picture in. He was flying back to Midland from, I think, the Dallas area, and this is a look at Glasscock County and one of those thunderheads that got going this afternoon, so a unique view. Some of that stuff was relatively high base, meaning the lowest part of the cloud of the thunderstorm was upwards around 5,000 feet up, so a lot of area for some gusty winds and a little bit of rain. Everything's gone now as we take a look at the radar. Well, there's a couple of showers here near the Lenora area and passing off to the east, but it's just about gone for the most part. And a little more activity across southern portions of Midland County. That's that same storm that scooted right between Midland and Odessa, dropped 11/100ths of an inch of rain out at the Midland International Air and Spaceport. You can see this northwesterly flow in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's what steered everything right now. We're still underneath a ridge of high pressure, and that's really going to control the weather for the next couple of days before it's going to be replaced a little bit by this trough that's going to kind of squash it off to the south. As that happens, we'll see temperatures moderate a little bit and get back into the 80s as we move in towards the weekend. Also, this pattern may send a few more disturbances over us and bring a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, most of the activity today was across the hill country, Edwards Plateau, Concho Valley, down into south central Texas, where they're still dealing with a few scattered showers and thunder showers. Lower Rio Grande Valley right now, seeing some thunderstorms there from Rio Grande City over towards McAllen. Temperatures were hot today across the area and really the state of Texas, so plenty of daytime heating to kick off those showers and thunderstorms. We're about done for tonight. And then for tomorrow, we're going to be looking for relatively quiet conditions early on. A lot less in the way of isolated showers, thunderstorms, really confined to the Davis Mountains down towards the Big Bend for tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. So the rest of tonight, few leftover clouds from earlier showers, thunder showers will settle into the upper 60s tonight. And another hot one on the way tomorrow. Temperatures low to mid 90s out there tomorrow afternoon. And again, best bet for those isolated thunderstorms down into the mountain areas, Big Bend. And look for the hot conditions for the Peanut Butter Brigade coming up tomorrow. Be sure to donate a jar of peanut butter here at the CBS7 studios. We'll be out in the parking lot all day wanting your donations. So help us out. 92 on Friday, and then we see that temperature drop a little bit into the mid to upper 80s with a few more showers next week.
5 months later, Hollywood writers are finally headed back to work. We take a look at some of the contract wins for the writers up next. A major win for Hollywood writers overnight. The Writers Guild of America approved its contract agreement with the organization representing major studios, ending at least part of Hollywood's summer of strikes. CBS News' Jared Hill is in New York with details on the deal.
After nearly 5 months, Hollywood writers can once again pick up the pen. The strike declared over Tuesday night after board members for the Writers Guild of America approved a contract agreement with the studios.
We got so much of what we wanted, like it's overwhelming.
The 3-year deal includes better upfront pay and an agreement on residual compensation based on the popularity of a streaming show. On artificial intelligence, AI can't write or rewrite scripts, nor can it create source material, their language for novels or video games that writers adapt into scripts. Another win for the Guild, required staff minimums.
The idea that there would be some protection to make sure that writing staffs continue to be robust, that there's some sort of guidelines to protect some of these jobs. That's a big win for the Writers Guild.
Late night talk shows, the first to go dark, could be the first to return. Meanwhile, actors who've swapped the screen for the sidewalk continue to search for their own Hollywood ending.
Knowing that at least one of us has gotten a good deal gives a lot of hope that we will also get a good deal as well.
The writers still have to vote to ratify the contract early next month, but they can work during that process. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The WGA agreement will last through May of 2026. Meanwhile, overnight, SAG-AFTRA, which represents striking actors, told its members there are no confirmed dates scheduled to meet with the studios. And still ahead, go to load of this. One New York canine officer got to meet a farmer for a day. We'll tell you about his special job up next. Police officers and a canine had an unusual assignment this week in New York, wrangling a herd of goats. 30 goats escaped from their pen. Police officials say the property owner hired a company that provides goats for clearing brush, but they decided to make a run for it. The canine named Pietro was able to guide the herd across the front yard, through some woods, and back to the field where their pen was located. I can't imagine Tom seeing this on the side of the road.
But what was funny there, though, was the police dog that was rounding them up. He was more interested in sniffing something out than really getting after them and rounding up all those goats. Well, anyway, For us in West Texas, we're going to see more heat in our forecast. 90s hanging around next couple of days.
All right, well, thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW.